time for Be All You Can Be.
Today is still about self-confidence, self-belief, and self-esteem. And I've got a phenomenal guest in the house today. I've known her for a long time. And we've done a lot of work together, you know, helping people build teams, helping people create the future of their dreams. Her name is Jibola Ponnle. And, you know, I've worked with a lot of people that have done team building. And what she does in team building is just completely different. One of the things she does at the end of the team building exercise or in between team building is drumming. Jibola, welcome to Be All You Can Be.
Thank you very much, Larry. Good to be here.
Wow. So, Jibola, tell us about yourself. You know, tell us about what you do. Tell us about why team building. Tell us about why coaching.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Larry. I actually started my career as an accountant.
Wow.
I spent 10 years in accounting. I worked with Arthur Andersen, and from there I went on to British Tobacco. I left BAT as the head of marketing finance to set up my own business. Now, at that point, many people ask me, why did you leave such a high-paying job, high prospects, to set up your own business at such a critical time? But you know, it says, there's a book that I read in Arthur Andersen called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the habits there was you begin with the end in mind. I came to a point where, you know, what was the end? To be the finance, I was one level to the finance director, and the plan then was to take me out of the country for several years and bring me back again. And I thought, really, do I want to be the finance director of BAT, begin with the end in mind? And the answer was no. So it was at that point that I realized that, well, what do you really want? And found out that I wanted to own my own time. Not necessarily run my own business, but own my own time. So that's how I took the leap of faith. There was no perfect time. I just, you know, you just have to do it. Just close your eyes and you jump. And that's exactly what I did. And I landed in self-employment.
Wow, that's phenomenal. You didn't have a coach, and yet, you know, you took on the principles and the fundamentals of coaching. You know, and you said that you asked yourself some fundamental questions. Mm-hmm. What do I really want? What is the end game for me? And when is it time for me to take that plunge? And you took personal responsibility for that. And here you are, many years after, doing your own thing, owning your own time. So, you know, taking it from that perspective, coaching, you know, why team building, why coaching, why ICF, and what is ICF? You know, I know there's this new baby that, you know, you've just given birth to, and you're really excited about.
Extremely.
And, you know, it's just something phenomenal that everyone wants to hear about it.
Interesting. Well, you know, why coaching? Why coaching? Steve Jobs said once that, you know, you look back and all the dots you realize connect. I think that's really my story, because if you had told me when I left university that I'll be a coach or leaning towards psychology, I mean, I deal with numbers. I'm very comfortable around numbers. So now people, total shift. When I started off on my own, I actually started off with event management.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, what I do, anything that I do, I try to know that topic, that area inside out. I want to know, you know, come from a position of knowledge. So I went to George Washington University to learn event management, School of Business. So it was in the process of that certification that I came about team building as one of the fastest growing subsectors of the special event industry. So that's where my research into team building started. So at a point in time, I actually had 2 businesses running side by side. I had the event management business and I had the team building business. A lot of confusion, because sometimes when people see me in events and then they see me in the corporate space, and it's just difficult for them to reconcile. But you know, both, I was passionate about both, and hey, why not? I went after both, and team building slowly, gradually took over. And it was in the process of team building, and you know, we do, as you said, we do a lot of amazing
crazy
activities.
Don't we follow it. Crazy things.
You know, I mean, the drumming is one of them, but you know, irrespective of what activity we do, it all ties back to what happens in the office, the team dynamics. And we realized for us, it's not just about having a good time, it's really getting to shift and change the dynamics of your team towards a positive angle. And we realized that after the team building activity, a day, 2 days, people leave there with high morale. You know, they can do this, we can do this, where, you know, they're loving each other and, you know, things are on a high. Then we go in 6 weeks later, we don't just leave them. We go in 6 weeks later and status quo. They have settled back into the same old routine, doing the same things that they said they, you know, would change at the team building session. So for me, that was a real challenge. You know, maybe because I was so used to dealing with numbers. You know, numbers, you put the numbers in, you get the numbers out. You know, what you put in, you get on the other side. So, you know, how can you let there be a lasting change in behaviors? You know, they intend to change, they want to change, but something just takes them back. So that was where my search for a lasting solution to behavioral change started, and that's where I came across coaching as a solution.
You know, Rank Xerox did a research a long time ago, and they realized that without follow-up coaching, 87% of all training is lost.
Absolutely.
Wow. So you experienced that, and because of that experience, it wasn't just good enough for you to just do team building. It was all about that behavior that you expected and you wanted to change. Right. And so here you are as a coach. Here you are as a team building expert. Now you introduced a new baby into the mix, ICF. Tell us about ICF. What is ICF?
Yes, ICF, I can start from today and end tomorrow with ICF. ICF, as you said, really is a new baby for me. It stands for International Coach Federation, and it's the global network that supports the profession of coaching worldwide. We just started here in Nigeria just last week, I think. 7th of May was our official approval, and you know, we're really excited to bring coaching to another level. I know that you've been doing an amazing job with bringing awareness to coaching, but for us, we're trying to really bring a lot of visibility to the profession, let people understand what coaching is, not what they think it is. You know, because for me, even till now, I introduce myself as a coach. And you know, they're the furrowed brows, they're the blank expressions. People are like, oh really? So what? Like football, athletics, you know, basketball, they just don't get it. And even those that believe they get it still really don't understand what we do. So for me, it took me a long time to actually change. You know, I was so used to being an accountant, you know, that what defined me. And you know, when you say you're an accountant, they, you know, people sort of, there's that instant credibility, people take a second look, and you know, but with coaching it was hard. You know, so for ICF, we're here to raise the standards, ensure that there's standards, ethics in the coaching industry in Nigeria, ensure that there's professionalism as well, training, latest research available to the coach practitioners in the country, as well as many other things that the organization stands for.
Wow. And I understand that this is a special week that we're about to get into. What is this week all about?
This week is the International Coaching Week.
Wow.
And it's celebrated every year by coaches worldwide. It's to raise the awareness and bring visibility to the profession of coaches. And what coach chapters worldwide, what they do is, you know, different activities that would bring coaching to the public, for people to experience coaching. Because when you try to explain coaching, it's hard to explain what it is unless you've actually been engaged in a coaching conversation. So this is an opportunity for us to let people know what coaching is about. Let them sample, you know, pro bono coaching. We're here on radio. We have a breakfast seminar coming up on Tuesday for senior HR practitioners, executives, and also for coaches and coaches in training. We're doing some pro bono work with WIMBIZ on Thursday. So there are a lot of activities going on for us in the Nigeria chapter, and we're really, really excited.
Wow. And Jibola, let's get practical with this coaching of a team. So, the whole month our theme has been self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-belief. And I have my own philosophies about self-esteem. I actually believe that the secret cocktail to success in life is a healthy self-esteem, confidence, and self-belief. And offline we were talking about that, and you added some phenomenal angle. I'd like to, and I said, just hold that. We'll talk about it all night. So, what's your angle to coaching and self-esteem and self-worth?
Self-esteem, as you said, is probably one of the basic things that you would need for success. Self-esteem is your perception about yourself, the judgments that you make about who you are, about your self-worth. Some people say is how well you love yourself. So it depends on the glasses or the perception that you have towards who you are and how you value yourself. And I like to add self-efficacy to that mix. Self-efficacy is your belief that the goals that you set, that you will achieve them, that your efforts will be directly linked to the outcomes of what goals that you set for yourself. So for instance, if you say you are going to start a business and you actually start the business and you succeed at that business, that boosts your self-efficacy. And self-efficacy and self-esteem mixed together boosts self-confidence. And as you quite rightly said, that is based in your self-belief. The self-belief, that's, the value statements, the statements that you make about who you are. And I don't know what you covered last week, but your self-belief really is hinged in, most often, is really starts from very early on. It's from your upbringing. It's from the experiences that you go through while growing up, even when you are grown, the experiences through life generally. So, for instance, examples of those sort of experiences, if you grew up in a family where you're constantly punished, subject to abuse, neglect, you make some value judgments about who you are. And I call them the I am statements. It becomes like a guiding statement of how you perceive yourself. So there are various examples. For instance, if you belong to a family that is not accepted, or there's prejudice when you're growing up, that also affects your self-belief. If you're not accepted in society, if you're not shown warmth, love, praise as a child, all those sort of experiences, if you're not accepted by your peers in school, it all affects who you say that you are. Examples of statements that people come out with from childhood are statements like, I'm not good enough, I can't succeed. And the amazing thing about these statements is that you don't even realize that you have them. The inner voices, inner critic, I call them inner critic, they're deep blocks they're internal blocks to your success. Success has a lot of cocktails. You have the external blocks and the internal blocks. And the truth of the matter is that the internal blocks, are actually more dangerous. The enemy within is greater than the enemy without, is basically what happens with success. So with coaching, what we try to do with coaching is to look at, yes, we look at the external blocks, but as we said, many times, the hindrance to success lies in that, yes, within. So what we try to do is to shine a light onto those inner blocks. And when you shine a light on anything that's dark, the darkness doesn't have anywhere to hide.
Wow, you just preach the scripture. Darkness shall not comprehend it.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's so powerful. So what we're saying right here, from what I understand, Jibola, is that coaching is all about awareness. It's all about illumination. It's all about enlightenment. Coaching is all about giving you that inner power to become all that you were born to be. You know, it's like you driving and you have blind spots and you can't see. You know, it's about you understanding the mental programs and the programs that you're running, you know, getting rid of those wild gremlins and wolves that are holding you down from being all that you were born to be. And, you know, I liked your analogy because you linked it to parenting. You linked it to environment. You linked it to your peers. You linked it to, you know, people that had influence over you when you were growing and don't have that much influence over you anymore. But because you have allowed it, unconsciously you don't know that those are the things that are ruling and guiding you and taking charge of your life. So we're talking about, you know, the power of the unconscious or the other than conscious or the subconscious, you know, in you mastering your ability to be self-confident, to be, you know, to have self-efficacy. I love that angle because it's all about you having dreams. It's all about you having goals and you believing that you have the ability, you know, to challenge your barriers, to challenge your obstacles, and to challenge your challengers and overcome them and work towards achieving your dreams. So, in that case, what does a coach do? Because it all sounds like everything comes from the client. So, you know, what is the real role of a coach in all of this?
The real role, as I said, is for the coach to help you. So sometimes, you know, we're so used to doing the same thing over and over again that it's become automatic. You mentioned something about, you know, when you're driving a car, when you're learning to drive a car, you know, you're very conscious of, you know, you check your mirrors, you check your, you know, you're conscious of what you're doing. When you've learned how to drive a car, you know, you can drive and you're not even conscious of what you're doing, unless, you know, you can be talking on the phone, unless something comes in your way, and then, you know, you now, you know, get back to what you're doing, you pay attention. That's exactly what it is, how it is with behaviors and habits. Because we are so used to doing it over and over again, we've told ourselves the same stories over and over again, we have developed automatic responses to many situations in life. And these responses, as I said, is rooted in a lot of things that happens in childhood. I mean, I'll give you an example. Children are born with, you know, there's no bad adults. It's just, for me, bad parenting, you know. Children are born with the natural instinct. There's some children who are born with the natural instinct of leadership. What happens, especially in our country, you know, they're forward. They want to talk a lot. They're always touching this and touching that. You know, when you don't talk to them, they've interrupted. What happens in our country? What do we do normally? Shh, keep quiet. You're too, you know, you're too forward. Don't do that. So, and what happens? A child that is born with natural leadership abilities grows up coward. They can't talk. Self-esteem down, self-confidence down. You know, this is also a warning to parents to know how to nurture this natural ability, a natural gift that a lot of people are born with, but the environment beats out of us. So what a coach does really is to sometimes slow you down, to become consciously conscious of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your behaviors. You know, you said I'm preaching, but you know, as a man thinks, so is he. We have the power. We have the power to change our behaviors, to change our attitudes, only if we can pay attention to the thought. It all starts from our thoughts, what we believe to be true about any situation and about ourselves. So the coach will help you to, you know, raise that awareness, challenge those thoughts. I'm not good enough. Really, who says? Help you to replace those negative thought patterns with empowering thoughts, to help you to even achieve, you know, set goals and ensure, you know, a coach is like an accountability partner as well, to ensure that when you do set those goals, we partner with you to ensure that it happens.
Wow. So you're saying that a coach understands, you know, has the methodologies and the tools and understands the fundamental principles of human thinking, human behavior, and, you know, is equipped with you know, the skills of how to help you change those dynamics.
Absolutely, which is why, you know, a lot of people say that they are coaches. You know, I see it all the time. I see it online. I see it in people's business cards. I'm an empowerment coach. I'm a success coach, transformation coach. But you cannot be a coach if you haven't gone through the training. There are certain competencies, certain, you know, the way you ask questions, listening, you know, there's certain principles that you must understand and put into play in the coaching conversation. It's not just something that you're good at. You know, people are good at counseling or good at advising. Coaches don't advise. Coaches don't tell you what to do. We give you the space to look inwards. Coaches believe that the power, the solution, the truth, the ultimate truth lies within. So we help you to reconnect to that truth.
Wow. Wow. So you're saying that, you know what, the truth of the matter is you cannot be a doctor without going through the practice.
Absolutely.
And the learning of being a doctor, accountant, engineer, and the same thing with coaching.
Absolutely.
And what will be your last words in terms of, you know, self-efficacy, in terms of self-confidence, self-worth, self-belief, self-esteem? If you're going to make a closing statement to our listeners out there, what are the critical things that they should take away, you know, from you?
As your program said, you can be all you want to be. The only thing that can stop you is yourself. Henry Ford said, I love his quote, he said, if you believe you can or you can't, you're right. So you need to believe and, you know, set your standards high, set your goals, and nothing stops you from achieving whatever it is that you believe you can achieve but yourself. Learn to challenge your thoughts. Any negative thought, instantly replace it with empowering thoughts. Learn, you know, you're a big believer in affirmations. Learn to, you know, do those affirmations on a regular basis of who you want yourself to be. And I know that really there's nothing that can stop you from doing that, from being all you can be.
Wow, wow. So, Jibola, how can people reach you? How can people follow you? How can people become members of the ICF? How can people that have over the years thought that, you know, okay, I'm a coach, but they are not qualified, they haven't been trained, how can they, you know, begin the process? How can they reach you? How can they reach the ICF? And yes, as a first step towards, you know, standardizing their practice, being members of the International Coach Federation, the Nigerian chapter, or even starting their journey towards being professionally trained coaches.
We've got a website called coachfederationg.org. That's coachfederationg.org. We have a lot of information on the website. You can reach us at reception@coachfederationg.org. Just send us an email about your request, your interest, and we will get back to you within 24 hours. As you said, we've got the Twitter handles. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook,
Instagram as well.
Instagram,
YouTube,
you set us up. So we're totally social media. We're LinkedIn all over. So basically, those are the major areas places that you can follow us.
Wow, fantastic. Fantastic. And you know what I want to say is, you know what, coaching is a profession. It ranks amongst the world's top professions. Just as you cannot just be a doctor, you be a clerk, you know, without training, requisite, relevant, professional training, qualification, and certification. And you know, you cannot practice in any country without joining the regulatory body. We're saying very soon you're not going to be able to practice in Nigeria without joining the relevant, you know, regulatory bodies, and ICF Nigeria is going to be one of them. There's also the Life Coaches Association of Nigeria, which I don't want to talk about now. So what's your tip on coaching? Based on your experiences in the classes that you've attended, and you're looking forward to attending the NLP class next week.
Well, basically, I believe, like, you know, everybody needs to be coached up to an extent. in whatever you're doing, and no matter what profession it is, you're trying to do something. Unless you're trying to like adopt the whole trial and error, system where you just keep trying, failing, and trying, failing. When you have people available to you that have experience, knowledge in whatever situation or position you might find yourself in, then why not like take advantage of it instead of like following the whole trial and error system? So basically, I think everybody needs to be coached.
I like this definition of what coaching is. Coaching helps you move from where you are to where you deserve to be faster than you can by yourself.
Yes.
So coaching is laser, it's powerful, it's phenomenal. If Bill Gates says you need a coach, trust me, you need a coach.